I give feedback as if I'm a girl who your boyfriend has cheated on you with.
Everyone, welcome back to another video. Today you'll notice it's not just me sitting alone writing by myself like a crazy woman. I actually have a real human friend. I know we're all surprised. When you're on this here app of YouTube, you just see people writing, right? You don't oftentimes see the actual words that people are writing. You don't really have an idea of the quality of the work until you've read it. So I thought I would bring on somebody who has experienced the quality of the work so you guys can get a little more insight.
But I am getting a degree in publishing and editing.
Right after school, you're gonna try to become like a literary assistant, kind of, or?
Who knows?
Yeah, wherever the time. What's the querying advice that you would give us, Janelle?
Didn't cover that one in class pages yet. I mean, most literary agents are not going to read past the first few sentences. I'm gonna be so honest.
Really unfortunate for me.
They really don't. So just make it catchy. Make sure you have a good query letter.
But like catchy, that's great, but then what if it's like too corny and they're like, that's too corny, we don't want that. Like,
oh, then they're gonna say that's too corny.
Right, but where is the line, Janelle?
I don't know, you have to hook them. I'm just telling you, that's what I remember a literary agent told us when she came and talked to our class. They don't usually read past a few sentences, if not the first page. They just don't have time.
Right.
I remember she was saying that she had like 5,000 things in her inbox that she had to get through.
Imagine having 5,000 emails.
And that's like full like query letters and everything. Right. So just be aware.
Janelle has beta read for me since I was in high school. We've been friends since, you were in middle school, right?
I was 11 when we first met.
Oh my gosh, time has flown, everyone. Because she's really the person who's read all of my work back in the olden days of when I wrote a dystopian novel that was literally probably a combination of the selection.
Heavy on the selection.
Heavy on the selection. What is like a grammar or like some sort of like typographical mistake that I just consistently make across the board? It could be like a word I misspell.
I'm gonna be honest, you misspell a lot of things. I want to say, I don't think you do it anymore, but a huge problem during 5280 is how much you loved parentheses.
I really did.
Loved parentheses.
I really did love parentheses.
Loved them. I feel like I've also come across instances where you misuse words. Like in a Princess Bride voice where like, I do not think that means what you think it means.
What would you say, my fatal flaw as a writer?
Sometimes you like to use too many words when fewer would do. It becomes where words get misused because you want it to sound cool and fancy and like artistic. Yeah. And then you just kind of lose me and I'm just like, I don't really know what you're trying to say here. Or like, just like very simple things that you try to make sound better and then it kind of just ends up sound like you're like somebody who's really trying not to plagiarize and is like looking up the source for every word. Not always a bad thing. But sometimes it gets over like convoluted and it's just too much.
See, it's funny, I'm doing this rewrite right now where I'm like kind of analyzing things on that kind of sentence level and I keep finding myself being like, no, I need to write more about that. And I'm like, wait a minute.
It's like, it's a fixable thing. Right. It's not like a you suck as a writer.
Would you say that I am predictable? Like what, would you say you can predict what's gonna happen?
5280, I want to say no, just because you were just throwing curveballs from absolutely nowhere. So it was just kind of impossible to predict because no seeds were planted. It was just suddenly, there it is. So yes and no. Right. I feel like you're the appropriate amount. I plant seeds so that people can figure things out. But like, I'm not a very like reader where I'm like reading it and I'm like sitting there trying to figure out what's gonna happen. I just keep reading and then I get there and I'm like,
and I think my favorite kind of reading experience is when I'm reading and I'm like, oh, I think I know where they're going with this. Like, I'm so excited to see where that goes. You know who does that well? Lynette Noni. What are your favorite kind of edits to do? Is it like line level, developmental, copy?
Well, first to all of the dear watchers, listeners out there, if I ever become a copy editor, someone check on me. I feel like I'm best at developmental. Yeah. I feel like I'm best at the whole picture and seeing how a plot should develop and characters and, you know, is the book doing what it needs to do kind of thing.
What tense have each of my books been written in?
Oh no. Near the end of June was past tense.
Was it third person or first person? I don't even
How do you not
know.
remember? Wait. Nope, it is in first person.
So yeah, it's first person past tense, which is the
person
worst
past
possible tense to write in. It's like,
Is it?
it just feels very awkward. I currently write in present tense. Can you name the name of the, let's say, rebel-like group in my first book?
No.
The Radicals.
Oh my god. Because again, loosely, not even that loosely, based off of the selection,
Yeah.
there was no like bachelor
There was
plot
no
to this.
bachelor plot.
Just everything else.
The main character was Maxon Shreve. Like, he just
was like
was.
to the T. But like Rebels Radical, yeah. It was
There
was no
was
name.
the selection.
It was the Radicals.
What fairy tale inspired my first book?
Probably Cinderella.
Yeah, it was Cinderella. But nothing about that.
Nothing besides Ella and her stepmother and two stepsisters.
What historical figure did I input into
Oh, I know
the
this.
plot of the first book as like the history that they were learning about?
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, so I did this whole thing where they had this like alternate history. It was like this was the history they were learning, that this historical real figure started this whole revolution and he is the reason.
How recent was it?
Very old.
Very old.
Like very, very famous.
The first
literary
person that popped
figure.
to my head was FDR, but I
No.
just don't think that that's good.
No, and I was doing this whole thing. It's like early days. Like
Alexander the Great, like that
we're
old.
talking maybe wrote a couple of famous plays.
Oh, Shakespeare.
Yeah, Shakespeare.
Crazy.
And I had this whole chapter
I
where
forgot
it was like
that
a
happened.
riddle, like she's getting hazed. There was like a hazing moment. It was like Divergent. It was really a mix of every book. And
There was, and she had to solve the riddle.
She had to solve
but it
a
was
riddle?
in iambic pentameter.
Yeah, and it was an iambic pentameter because of William Shakespeare. And then the code was like the year of some Shakespeare play and the name Paris. Let's say, what illegal activity do the main characters?
So in this world, 5280, this dystopian world, I remember having this conversation with Alyssa, and she's like, you know, every dystopian world, there's like something that is missing. And in her world, music did not exist. It just didn't exist.
But the way they found out about this.
And so one of the people, I want to say they were like radical associated, took them to an underground illegal swing dancing club. Yes.
And she was like, what is this noise? Like,
Yeah.
what am I listening?
Music
Because
was
music
not
didn't exist. I just read The Giver and I was feeling
Yeah.
inspired.
That makes sense.
Got
You know what
time.
else I remember about 5280?
Yeah.
We reenacted it. There's a lot of embarrassing things that we have done in our friendship. Also, like recreated Taylor Swift's Look What You Made Me Do music video.
I'll just put in one shot of that right here. We reenacted it shot for shot.
Shot for
and
shot.
it really is iconic. I think if we posted that now, we would go viral. What is your favorite quote? from
My
book?
favorite quote from any of Alyssa's writing ever
Oh my God.
comes from 5280.
Which I wrote when I was 15 to 17.
Oh, I found it. Okay, so this is the best phrase ever. And again, I would like to reiterate that this was the book that she had people sign at her grad party. So our
It also
dear
won
friend,
a Scholastic key.
It did.
I'm not.
Xanthi was a carbon copy of her mother with long blonde hair and breasts that could choke a pig.
Honestly, I stand by that. Because it's like, you think about like apples choking pigs, and like that's the imagery that I was going for.
Like an apple in the mouth.
Okay, actually where I'm getting this image from is like in the Hunger Games when
That's
she
just
shoots
they just
the
stuff it in the
arrow.
mouth.
What is the murder weapon?
Ooh. Maybe it's changed.
It hasn't.
Was it a stabby stab?
It was a stabby. What was June's sister's name in Near the End of June?
Oh, Eva?
Issa. Close.
Issa. We were on the way down to Alyssa's lake one day, and I had her full printed copy of 5280 in my hands, and we just like read it aloud, like
we
dramatically
did. We
on the
really
way down
did
to
read
the
it out
lake,
loud.
and told her everything that was wrong with her book.
Yeah, it was.
Which
it was really a sad day to be me.
It was a lot of harsh criticism. I give feedback as if I'm a girl who your boyfriend has cheated on you with, and then she's trying to Instagram DM you to let you know that your boyfriend's an asshole and that he cheated on you. And that's like the, hey girly. You're so beautiful, you don't deserve this.
But the thing is, I think you have to have beta, like really good critique partners, and then also you have to have that's so great readers, like your sister, who is, I would not qualify as a literary genius.
No.
She's really good at being like, oh my gosh, I cried when this person died, and like all the emotions. Like she made a Snapchat story where she was reading my book and responding to it. I was the only person on the story.
Oh, I was like, I was not on the
she
Snapchat
only put
story.
me on it so that I could like go back and watch as she like read it. So you have to have those people, but like to really get the book to be good, you gotta have somebody who actually can edit it for you.
Josie is not.
No, she.
You know what? If you have questions for me,
Drop them down below.
either about Alyssa's writing or just about Alyssa or the wild things that we've done, back, I'll be a frequent. If you want to hear us do a whole episode on Keeper of the Lost Cities, it will be like 2 hours
Like
long.
literally let us know because we will do it.
We will talk about it.
We started doing a Keeper of the Lost Cities podcast.
I think those episodes had promise.
Well, that's great. Do you have any advice for the writers or the beta readers of the world out there, Janelle?
I don't know. Just keep doing it.
Just keep
There's always going to be another mountain.
You're always gonna want to make it
move.
Oh
It's
my
always going to be an
gosh.
uphill battle.
Well,
But yeah, just keep at it. Your words are important, and people need to hear them.
thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to drop a like, comment down below. All right, I'm gonna call it there. Bye.
Bye!